steamy, fragrant coconut rice, a super spicy, crispy fish sambal. This one, my friends, is a classic. This is my version of nasi lemak. Oh wow. This is making me very, very happy. Okay, so a Malaysian or Indonesian nasi lemak has so many amazing little things that go all on the plate. We are going to do a home version. So I'm going to do a version here where I've used whatever I can in terms of substitutions that doesn't sort of take away from the dish, because there can be some hard to get ingredients. So most of these things will be easy to get, or you can order them online. So let's get started first of all on the coconut rice. Now this to me is like one of the most crucial elements of a good nasi lemak. You have to get the rice just perfect and that beautiful fragrant coconut flavor. So start off with some rice. This is a long grain jasmine rice, and to that I'm going to add a can of coconut milk. Now you won't quite have enough liquid here, and I don't like to add too much coconut milk because it kind of takes over and gets a bit gluggy and it's almost like too coconutty for me. So I like to add some water in here as well. And I'm doing the Thai mum trick where you just pop your fingertip on top of that level of rice and pour the water in up to that first knuckle. Did I say Thai mum? That's because my mum's Thai. Asian mum. All Asian mums do the same thing, the knuckle. Okay, so we want that up to there. That's looking good. Now the traditional ingredient to put in with this rice would be pandan leaves. It has a really kind of lovely vanilla fragrance.
This one is pandan leaf. Look how beautiful.
If you can get a hold of those in your area, please do tie them in a knot and pop them in here. If you can't, like I can't here in Australia, I'm going to add in some lemongrass instead because I find that easier to find. Look, you could also pop in a piece of ginger as well. We just kind of want to give the rice a little bit of added fragrance. Now turn the heat on, and I want to let that come to a nice simmer, and then we'll come back and check on it. In the meantime, we can get on to making our spicy sambal. To me, I think this is another crucial part of a good nasi lemak. So what I've started with are some dried red chilies. So these are like the larger ones. They're not the really small bird's eye ones. They're the larger dried red chilies. And I've had them soaking in some hot water, and that's just to soften them up. And I'm going to squeeze out some of that liquid. Now, if you wanted to make this less spicy, cut open those dried chilies and take the seeds out. I quite like it fiery, as you guys know, so I'm going to leave them in and pop that in your food processor, and make sure you keep a hold of that chili soaking liquid. We're going to use that a little bit later on. To the dried chilies, I want to add some fresh chilies. Again, these are not a super spicy chili because, you know, we do have some kick there with those dried chilies. And some red Asian shallots. You could also use French eschalots here as well. Some garlic. And now this little guy here is shrimp paste. Now my big tip with shrimp paste is use it, don't smell it. Shrimp paste is kind of funky, yes, but in the finished dish it adds like a really awesome salty savouriness that you don't get from just salt. Again, shrimp paste is something you can get from an Asian supermarket or order it online. Now you want to blend this to a kind of like a rough paste. Ooh, that smells dangerous already. Can get the chili fumes. Okay, so this is the kind of situation that you're looking for here. A little bitsy is fine, that's okay. And before we go any further on our sambal, let's just come back and check on our rice, because I can see we're starting to make some progress here. If you have a look, we've got some of the rice kind of poking up the sides here. What I'm waiting for is for that rice water to completely kind of evaporate on the top, so a few minutes longer. Okay, so this is what I was talking about before. All that liquid has now kind of dropped down below the level of the rice. We've got those little holes starting to look a little dry. So I'm going to put the lid on and turn the heat down to low, really low, and just gently cook that for a couple of minutes. Then I'm going to turn the heat off and just let it kind of sit there and steam away with the lid on. You want to let it steam away for about like 10 minutes or so. And that way we'll get a really beautifully evenly cooked coconut rice. So now we're at the spicy part, my favorite bit. Let's get some oil into our pan here. I'm just using a wok. I want a fair bit of oil here because what we need to do first is fry our little fishies. Okay, so these guys are going to be probably an online purchase or from your Asian supermarket. They're called ikan bilis. They are a dried anchovy basically, and they are super salty and yummy and Moorish and addictive. If you haven't tried these, get a hold of them. Ikan bilis, that's what you're looking for. Okay, so when the oil is hot, what we want to do here, these are dry but they're not yet crispy, so we want to get these nice and crispy. So just drop those into the oil. Now you want to keep moving these around in that hot oil like 3 or 4 minutes until they're nice and golden and crunchy. Okay, so these are looking the kind of crispy that I want. So just drain those off on some paper towel. And now I want to go into that oil with some red onion slices. So I'm looking for these to kind of get a bit like soft and jammy a little bit. Just want to get them cooking in there. Keep them turning over every so often though, so that they don't burn. I'll just snack on one of these little fishies while I'm here. They are surprisingly very, very tasty. Great little beer snack too, but they're like salty and crunchy and so good. Okay, so we're at the soft, like slightly kind of burnished at the edges kind of stage here. So I'm going to get those onions out, give them a good drain. Just pop that on the paper towel too. And now let's go in with our fiery chili paste. I love this bit. Now what we're trying to do here is cook down those like raw aromatics, so the shallots and the garlic that's in the paste, and you want to give that a good couple of minutes here and just keep stirring because that's super hot and I don't want anything to burn. But wow, that fragrance is wow, so good already. It's punchy. I can smell that chili and the shrimp paste. Now one of the things that starts to happen when that onion and shallot are nice and soft is the oil starts to sort of separate out from the rest of the paste. So I can see lots of oily little bubbles there. So I reckon that's looking pretty good. What I want to do now is get in with some brown sugar and some tamarind. You can get tamarind concentrate at a lot of supermarkets these days, or you can get that online as well. It's like a sour element. And now you want to take some of that chili soaking liquid that we saved earlier, and I want like a couple of spoonfuls of that in here as well. Ooh, that is now looking pretty lush to me. Ooh, I love that color. Okay, now let's get our onions back in here and our crispy fried anchovies and just mix all of that together. So this is really supposed to be like a very kind of pungent, fiery, like big explosion of flavor, and that kind of gets mellowed out by the creamy coconut rice. That's the kind of situation that we're going for here. Now what I want to do here is just try this and check for some seasoning. That is such a huge explosion of spiciness, saltiness, like so much good stuff going on in there. I do actually think we need just one more little pinch of salt in here. Kind of, this needs to be like really intense. Okay, that is going to be good. Now we get to the assembly stage. So let's come back and have a look at our rice. Oh, that smells so good. Now use a fork and oh, look how fluffy that is. Perfection. Yum. Okay. Okay, I get very excited about rice. That's the Asian in me. Okay, put your rice into a nice little bowl because, you know, we like to have a little kind of like molded rice scenario going on with nasi lemak. Optional, of course, but I like it. So tip that out onto your plate. And now nasi lemak is all about what you add to that rice. So now we go in with the spicy fried fish sambal and now some cucumber. So the whole idea here is that you've got something on the plate that kind of, you know, you can bite into to cool down that palate in between fiery chili mouthfuls. And you want some fried peanuts as well. And then I've got an egg here as well. And then this part is totally optional, but like, isn't everything improved by a piece of fried chicken? I made some ayam goreng or Indonesian or Malaysian style fried chicken. So I'm gonna pop that on my plate as well. And there you go guys, my home style version of nasi lemak. Yes, a few little ingredient substitutions, but overall I think this should be tasting pretty damn fine. Let's have a look. Oh, wow, that is one beautiful smelling spoonful. That combination, the like creamy, fragrant coconutty rice and then that super fiery, spicy sambal is insane, like literally insane. I need some of this chicken. Okay, so it's all about constructing like the perfect mouthful. The chicken, the sambal, the rice. Oh wow. This is making me very, very happy. A little cucumber to finish off. Totally amazing. I can be left alone now.